Hello, welcome to day 5 of the PowerHouse Planning Pajama Challenge. It is 2020 and we are taking 15 days to lay out an amazing year. And we're doing it little bite sizes at a time to make sure that you avoid overwhelm, stay in the game, do a little bit every day and get where you want to go, which is creating a prosperous, magical, crazy awesome life and business. This is day 5. I put it in the email that we were dealing with numbers and I said, listen, take a deep breath, because numbers are the thing that I find soul-based, heart-based entrepreneurs that we resist the most and that we avoid the most, because boom, this is why your business isn't doing what you want your business to be doing, because you're avoiding the numbers. I can't tell you how common it is for me to talk to people and I'll ask them a question like, what were your revenues last month or last year, or how are your revenues this year to date, and you know, what's going on with expenses and where's your profit, and are you paying yourself profit, and like what's happening? And they're just to be silenced. Like, I have no idea. I haven't paid taxes in 5 years. And babe, there is so much shame around our money, so much shame around our ability to handle money and get paid and charge and just everything to do with money. And that's why I talk about money shame so much. And I need you to know it's all a lie. This money stuff is all a lie. It is the enemy working in you so hard and trying to keep you crushed into a tiny little box where no one can see your light. And one of the easiest ways to keep us locked in shame is to keep us in shame about our money. Money is so easy to shame us with, whether there's too much or not enough, or we don't have a handle on it, or we don't know our numbers. And so today is probably the most important day of the challenge. It's day 5. We're looking at your numbers from last year. And the first blank on the worksheet is, what were your gross revenues in the past year? So we're just going to run through these and then we're going to finish. It's a nice short day today unless there are questions. Put your questions in the comments. I'll get to them later as well. What were your gross revenues in the past year? Gross is a really important number. It doesn't mean it was yucky. Gross means total. Like, what did people actually pay into your business? What was the total amount that you got paid before taxes are removed, before expenses are removed, everything? Like, what was the actual number that flowed into your bank account? So what were your gross revenues in the past year? The next one is, what was your profit? Profit is the difference between your gross revenues minus taxes, minus expenses, minus what you pay yourself for salary, something left over. That is your profit. Your profit is what is left over after you pay yourself and your taxes and your expenses. Like, after you pay out everything, what's left over, that's your profit. And then it says, did you calculate, track, and pay out profit to all shareholders at least quarterly? Did you calculate, track, and pay out profit to all shareholders at least quarterly? And I'm about to lay on you one of the biggest lessons that I've learned about running my solopreneur business. Here's the thing. When you are not a corporation or a partnership and you're not doing formal corporate structure, which I think is ridiculous when you're a new coach, even if I see it so often, I see people setting up their corporations before they've even started making any money. And they're like, well, I'm doing it for protection of my assets. You have to sign everything personally anyway. As the primary shareholder, as the board member, you're still liable because it's your signature on everything. So it's not giving you usually the asset protection that you want. And of course, that's different in different jurisdictions. Just know that there's a big myth out there about that. And it's a big bugaboo for me, because I'm like, why are you spending thousands of dollars doing your taxes and getting everything set up when you don't even know if you have a viable business idea? So anyway, you are probably the primary shareholder of your business. You are the one that gets paid profit. And you should be the one that gets paid profit at least quarterly. And I follow the profit first model. It is a book by Mike Michalowicz. Again, it's Profit First, Mike Michalowicz. It is one of the most important books that I've ever read. And here's the secret. You decide in advance what your profit is. You decide in advance what your profit is, and you choose a number. It might be 1%, it might be 2%, it might be 3%, and you decide in advance what it is. You set that money aside from everything that comes in. It gets set aside first, and then you pay it out at least quarterly. I do quarterly, and it's like this cool little bonus that comes to me at least quarterly. And here's why I think it's so important. That profit is your payment for taking the risk to be an entrepreneur. That profit is the payment that you get as the business owner. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more, but let's bring in this last thing. What was your take-home income? That is the third line. What was your take-home income? How often? In other words, what frequency? Was it monthly, bi-weekly, weekly? Did you pay yourself, and was it enough? How much did your business pay you? And this is where we start to put on these different hats. Michael Gerber talks about this in the E-Myth Revisited, which again, I think is, one of the most important books that you can read as a solopreneur, as a service-based professional. You are the delivery person in your business when you're a service professional. You are the one doing the work. If you're a massage therapist, if you're a coach, if you're a healer, if you're a graphic designer, a creative, you are doing the work that gets delivered. When you are doing the work, Michael Gerber calls that the technician work. When you are doing the technician work, you're doing your thing, you get paid for doing your thing. And you should get paid what you would get paid if you were working as an employee. If you're not making at least what you would get paid as an employee, then you know that you need to grow. You need to change something about your model because you're not making the money you should be making. So as like if you're contracting or however you are getting paid, when you get paid, like when the money comes into your business, you divide it all up. I pay myself 5% in profit, and I pay myself 40% in salary. So when the money comes in, it gets divided out. 20% goes to taxes, 40% goes to salary. 15% goes to expenses because I've really trimmed down expenses in my business. And 20% goes to like building up a fund for debt and investments, and 5% goes for profit. So like as soon as the money comes in, it gets divided up, and I move it around to different places to make sure that it stays safe, from me, from me spending it, from me looking at my bank account and thinking, oh my gosh, I have so much money. Because what most soulpreneurs and solopreneurs do is money comes in, they look at what bills they have, they pay some of those bills, and then they think everything left over after that is theirs. And they're like, this is my salary, this is my thing. And that's not the way that it works. You have to like intentionally put money where it needs to be. So anyway, your take-home income is what you choose to pay yourself as the technician in your business. Your profit is what you choose to pay yourself as the entrepreneur who runs your business. So I want you to really think about this. When you're working on your business, you're doing the entrepreneur work, you get paid profit. That's what entrepreneurs get paid. They are investing in their business and making things happen. When you do the technician work, the service work, that is you getting paid as a technician, and that's on a salary, or that's on an hourly rate, or it's a commission basis. And for me, it's commission basis. I get 40%, and I divide it all out, make sure that my taxes are going to be covered, make sure that it's all good. And this system works really, really well for me. Trying to do it on the fly and just deal with bills and not have any sort of investment fund building, that does not work. Having the profit come out, and there's so much more to talk about, and I do talk about this in the academy, in actually the PowerHouse stuff from the PowerHouse Mastermind. I did a whole thing on how to divide up your money. Learning to be responsible with your money and manage your money well is so important. All right, when you're starting up and you have lots of expenses, setting up office, buying furniture, set up website, is there a variance to the equation? Absolutely, your numbers will shift over time. And guaranteed, like as a service professional, when you're starting up, your salary, what you're actually paying yourself, will be much less, and your expenses will be much higher. After you're established and mature and you've been doing it for a while, things will balance out and you'll change those numbers. So you don't have to pick a number. Thank you very much. You don't have to pick a number and be wedded to it forever. You can evolve with these numbers, and you will. And it's important to revisit them, and that's why we're revisiting them at least on an annual basis to make sure it's still working. Even what you pay yourself in profit will change. What Mike suggests is you actually start with 1%. You just 1%, like 1% of everything that comes in. 1% is easy. You just set it aside, and once a quarter, you pay yourself that 1%, and it's this really cool bonus that you get as an entrepreneur. One more little tip on that. He suggests if you have debt in your business, that 1% or that profit once a quarter goes to put a chunk of money onto your debt. Maybe you keep a little bit for fun. But once your business is debt-free and running smoothly, which is the point of this, that money actually is for fun. Like, it's how you take your family on vacation. It's how you take yourself to the spa. It is the reward for carrying the weight and taking the risk of being an entrepreneur, because holy shit, ladies, we know, right? There is a lot of weight in this. So the front numbers that I want you to collect here: what were your gross revenues in the past year? What was your profit? Did you calculate, track, and pay out profit to all shareholders? That might just be you, and that's fine, at least quarterly. What was your take-home income, and how often did you pay yourself? Was it enough? So you're harvesting that. And then on the back side, what were your revenue, profit, and income goals? And now we've covered that, right? Revenue is all the money that came in. Profit is all the money that came in minus taxes, minus expenses, everything that's left. And then income is what you paid yourself. So what actually flowed into your personal bank account. And again, you should have two bank accounts, right? Your business bank account and your personal bank account. For a long time, like for years and years, I only had the one, and I used it for both. And that is super messy and makes your bookkeeper and accountant want to weep. And it makes the government super suspicious that you don't actually have a business, you just have a hobby. So definitely have the two. I still don't have like a formal business account because the fees on those really bug the crap out of me, but I do have two different accounts, and all of my business income goes into the business account, and then I transfer money over to pay myself when it is salary day, which is every Friday for me. I like to be paid weekly. So what was your goal? What was your actual? And what was the percentage of your actual of the goal? And the way that you do that is you do actual minus goal divided by goal. And if you didn't have a goal, just put, I didn't have one, like leave it blank. And then we're going to set goals so that this time next year when we do this again, you're actually going to have your goal. And then the bottom part is, what are your metrics, key performance indicators? How do you know when you're succeeding? And again, you might not have any, but it's the same thing with goal, actual, and percent of goal. This might be how many people you have on your newsletter list, how many people follow you on Instagram. You know, it could be audience size, it could be client load that you're carrying, it could be hours that you're working every week. It is whatever numbers you have chosen to go for in your business. And again, if you don't have any, figure out where you were actually and decide now, like, oh, these are going to be my KPIs. This is what I'm going to go for. Get your actual now, so that next year when you come back to this, you're like, I actually have some numbers because I did this last year and put in the time. So that is what we have today. If you have any questions, let me know. If you don't understand what the numbers are, what the key performance indicators are, just remember your KPIs are the numbers you're choosing to track and you're choosing to follow and you're choosing to go for. If you're in the academy and you did the social media marketing workshop, you might have some numbers from there that are KPIs. I put 5, you do not need 5. It might be 1 or it might be 3, whichever it is. Just, you need to have some, because you need to have some way of knowing if your business is succeeding. And that's it for today. This is Vanessa Long in the PowerHouse. Thank you for being here, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.